Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network, heard across the USA. And we are here obviously to support seniors and their caregivers and their families in all aspects of aging. And today we're going to have a very, very special guest. And I want to kind of give a little background. And I think a lot of us, as our listeners know, I'm in my later 60s. I'm 67. And one of the things that I always was asked when I was growing up is, do you have anybody in your life that you respect, that you look up to, that you can say, wow, I want to be like this person? And I remember an amazing woman way back when, Governor Ann Richards of Texas. And she was asked that question. And she was old, like, a lot older than me at the time when I was young. And she answered the question, asked that question. She goes, I didn't have a role model growing up, but what I had to do is I had to make it up. And so my role model was Wonder Woman. I could do things, or I could think about things in my life. And, I often think about, even at my age, there were very few female role models, people that helped that were the way showers across the world for the generation of women that came behind. And so I'm very, very excited to have you meet someone that is a true inspiration. She's an octogenarian. There we go. And Florence Klein, author, former stockbroker, and amazing inspiration. Welcome to Answers for Elders.
Thank you.
Florence, you are amazing. And I've known about you a long time. I know your daughter really well. So I know a lot of your story. And, you fascinate me as somebody that has always been, this incredible trailblazer. I know you read a little bit about your bio, and you have this amazing book out, but why don't you just start with our guests a little bit about your background story and who you are?
Well, I'm Florence Klein, and I've had 5 careers, and actually marketing my book under the hat is now my 6th career, because I didn't know anything about being an author in my first book, and marketing books. Totally new, and it's exciting. And who I am is I've always looked ahead 10 years or more. And I never look behind, because you can't go back.
No.
For me, it's always looking ahead and seeing what moves ahead, what I see ahead. And so I'm fortunate in doing that. And I started out with 3 children and decided that I wanted to work, because I always worked since I was 12 years old. Babysitting for 75 cents an hour. And then I decided after the kids were 2, 4, and 6 or 7 that I wanted to get a job. And I lived in suburban Philadelphia.
And you were a stockbroker.
I was looking, first I did aircraft financing, and then after a year I was bored, and then I started to look for something else. And so I found, someone suggested, did you ever hear about going into stocks? Well, we had a few stocks, but nothing much. Anyway, it sort of appealed to me, and I went and tried to find a job in downtown Philadelphia, and I was interviewed by 3 different national brokerages, and I had a job in 1965. So
and how many women's stockbrokers were there in 1965?
None that I can find. Maybe one that became in New York State,
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
in Philadelphia, none that I can recall or that I found.
Wow.
And it wasn't it, and it was mostly still, of course, even today, we're still the minor people in the field.
Right, right. I think it's been I can so resonate with you being a career woman in a quote unquote man's world. It's really it's difficult to be taken seriously at times. It's difficult to um be respected for the work you do. There's all kinds of ways in which, men communicate, whether it's the good old boys club or the golf course or things like that, we're not really invited into that inner core. And I can only imagine that's for me in the, 80s and 90s when I was developing my career. I can only imagine when you were back in the 60s. How did that affect you as far as being a woman in a man's world?
I never thought about it that way. I just thought that I was a professional, a woman,
Uh-huh.
and a mother.
Yeah,
So it never really crept into my mind
that's
that I was
amazing.
being discriminated against, or that I had more. I knew that I had trained, I was professionally qualified, and that was where I started. And
Uh-huh.
I started from nothing.
Uh-huh.
I had no background in
Uh-huh.
the family or at all in the finance area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started with a yellow pad, there's 32 lines, and I
Yeah.
had to find my own clients, which I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. And so we're here this hour to talk about your memoir, your amazing story of your life, which to all of our listeners, this woman is amazing. And you're about to hear this incredible story. So, Florence, we have about 3 minutes left in this segment, and I would love to kind of have you give a synopsis of your book. What is it about?
Well, it's about certainly how I came to be a stockbroker,
Uh-huh.
and the firms that I went to, and the clients that I had to develop myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that I wanted to have my own broker dealer, which I did, and which was one of the few women broker dealers in the country. Then,
Mm-hmm.
then I decided that I wanted to develop buildings in Old City, primarily because I lived in the suburbs, and I decided I really wanted to move into the city of
Oh, I
Philadelphia.
love this.
And so then I started to look for a place to live, and I found one and started to develop it, then quickly sold it because the times had changed. Then I found another building, and I developed the chocolate factory in Old City.
Oh my goodness.
And it was one of the first loft buildings in Philadelphia. And so, and I lived in it. And then I developed the castings, which was 62 condominiums. And
Wow.
it is now historically certified.
Wow. Wow.
And, and so I did that at the same time that I had my own broker dealer.
Uh-huh.
And I moved to Colorado Springs, and after a number of years, and got married again, and started Silver Planet. And Silver Planet was for seniors, and I funded it myself and had a firm, and it was amazing in the fact that so many of the major things that I had wanted to do with Silver Planet are still needed today.
Yes. And you know what? We're going to talk a little bit about Silver Planet as well as Florence. In the meantime, we're going to talk about your book, which is Florence Klein Under the Hat. And Florence, we are going to talk a little bit about your book, a little bit about your life story. I wanted to also talk about a concept called ageism, because I bet a lot of people don't know what that is. And anyway, we're looking forward to just seeing and learning about an inspirational woman. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube or that are not watching on YouTube, I strongly recommend that you go to Answers for Elders this weekend and check out Florence in her wonderful hat as she's sitting here visiting with us. And we'll be right back right after this. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.